Hello there, welcome back to NK Codes, and in this video we are going to be seeing about inheritance. Inheritance. So let's dive into it. I have my screen from last video. It's just the basic initialization and creating an object. So in the last video we saw this pet class, and in this video for demonstration I'm going to make one more class which is called animal. Okay, and this animal class is going to have breed as okay. Let's create the dunder method init, and let's set self dot animal equals to animal. There's actually a Python package called animal, but not that, we are creating our own. So, and self dot breed also equals to breed. Now let's put the values here, self and animal and breed. So, and we'll create an object for this class, and let's name it dog, and it's going to be an object of the animal class, and the first property is the animal, which is dog itself. It's a dog that we are creating, and the breed is German Shepherd. It's kind of famous, like for demonstration and example, this is quite renowned breed of dog. Like when you think of a dog breed, suddenly this one is what comes into my mind. I don't know about you. And let's run this, and again let's print out dog dot breed. Okay, since we are already printing name, we'll just print breed this time. And what I should say is German Shepherd and Tommy. Yeah, it works. So I could do something here is let's see. So I'm going to inherit the pet class from the animal class. So in bracket I put animal. So that's how you inherit. So what you are doing here is you're basically taking all the properties from the animal class, like this method, and let's say I had another method which says sound and self, and all it does is, let's say, print bark. So all this is basic. I hope you are going to be able to follow along, except for this animal part. And if there's any confusion in the previous lines or the after lines, I recommend you to see the previous video, which was class basics 1 and 2. So basically when I put another class name in the bracket, it basically means that I'm inheriting all the properties and methods from that class into this class as well. So when I create an object for the pet class, not only am I creating an object of the pet class, but since it inherits animal, all the properties of animal class is also going to be there for the pet class. Now I don't need to change code or anything. I just added that bracket animal, and now this function can be called from an object of this class. So let's try that. And we did create Tommy. Now if I put Tommy dot sound, it should print out bark. Yeah, we didn't create a sound method for pet class, but we did create one for animal, and we just inherited that, and those properties came here as well. So that's it for inheritance. Now this might seem pretty vague and naive, so I'm just going to show an application. So let's say I have a class called calculator, and I have got a cold, so bear with me. And let's say it has an add method and self dot, and let's say number 1 and number 2, and here you just basically print out number 1 plus number 2, right? So print number 1 plus number 2, and that's basically the add class. I'll just make 2 or 3 more, and convert to subtract, multiply, and divide class. So I'm just going to change things here. For the subtract, I'm going to change it to minus. For the multiplication, I'm going to change to asterisk, and for the division, I'll change to double division, as I don't want to mess up with floats here. I just want to keep it integer. Yeah, so this is a very simple class. Now if I create an object of the calculator class, let's say Texas Instrument, and it inherits, it's an object of the calculator class, and if I go like ti.add and I give 2 numbers, let's say 10 and 50, it should give out 60. So let's see. Yeah, it did give out 60. And yeah, this is one class called calculator in which we made some basic operation. So let's say we have another class called class advanced calculator. So all that power, exponentiation, and stuff. So I'll just paste it here. So here I'll put an exponentiation class, and here I'll put log class. So we'll explore the math module a bit in this video as well. So here let's put modulus class. It will be interesting. So basically, let's go through the functions once. Exponentiation means like normal exponentiation, what you learn in grade school mathematics. Basically, you take the first number in this case and you power it up to the second number. So if I were to input 2 and 3, it would basically do 2 to the power 3, which is 8. So it's going to output that for me when I put double asterisk. So wherever you want exponentiation, you use the double asterisk. Now for a change, I can do an import. So import math. So there is a module, inbuilt module in Python. You don't need to install a pip or anything like that. So with that module, you can do things, interesting things. So I just need to find log. So here I put math dot log, log, and number 1 and number 2. So what this basically log thing is, it's logarithm. It's kind of the opposite of exponentiation. So what you do in exponentiation is you take a number 2, you take another number 3, and you find 2 to the power 3 and you give the output, right? So in log function, what you basically do is take a number 2 and take a number 3 and basically find what to the power 2 is giving 3. So if now this 2 and 3 doesn't work, it will give something in decimal which absolutely I can't calculate now. Let's say I had two numbers 2 and 8. So log 8 with the base 2. So base is the number to which power you are calculating the log number, and yeah, that's it. So if I were to say log 8 to the base 2, so I would basically say what is 2 to the power x, which is equal to 8, and in this case 2 to the power 3 is equal to 8. So log 8 base 2 is outputting 3. So that's what you do in the second function. And mod is something even more interesting. It's simple, but you wouldn't expect that to be done by a computer. So that's why it's interesting. So basically you put the number 1 and you put a percentage sign and number 2. Before I explain this, I just want to demonstrate it and see, you yourself can see whether you can find what it's doing actually. So I'll create an object of the advanced calculation class. Let's say mycal equals to advanced calculator, and mycal dot mod, and let's say 10 and 3. So you just notice them. I will do one more output just for confirmation, 10 and 2. So I will run this, and as you can see, this is the output. I'll give you 5 seconds. If you want, you can actually pause the video now and to figure out what is going on in the mod function. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and your time is done. So basically mod function is finding remainder. That's like, when I first heard it, it was like spectacular. How can I, like, when you do long division method and find out the quotient and divisor and dividend, you basically have the remainder as a byproduct of your calculation. But how can a computer do, like, it just blew my mind. So in this case, I'm just taking number 1, dividing it by number 2 and finding the remainder. So yeah, till now everything should be as clean as butter. So how would you say as clean as butter? I think as smooth as butter. Like, you should understand everything. That's what is my intention. After this, we are going to see the actual inheritance stuff. So in the advanced calculator, all the advanced things are there, but if I were to put something like mycal dot add, oh my god, my language just changed. Yeah, if I put mycal dot add two numbers like 5 and 8, I would be like, if this was an industrial program or something like that. You have a big advanced calculator which can do exponentiation and modulus and log, but you can't do simple addition. So it can't do that. Like, how ridiculous is that? So a quick turnaround, since I already have the basic functions in another class called calculator, I could inherit those stuff without actually recoding it here. So as simple as putting in the bracket calculator. That's it. So now all my good stuff like addition, subtraction and simple things are going to be there for this class also. Terrible code actually. If I run this, it should output completely fine. That is inheritance. Basically, you take properties, basically it's like simply it's stealing properties and methods from other classes and taking yours. But if other classes used, like for example, let's say I had number1 equals to 0 by default and number2 equal to 5, okay, and if I were to use these numbers instead of the inputted number in multiplication, let's say multiplication, that looks fun to meddle with. So I could put self dot number1 and self dot number2, and for the calculator function, so here I put multiplication, and if I save it, it will run completely fine. Okay, wait, it didn't go completely fine. Okay, so basically since I removed those things, I don't need to pass argument. If I run it now, it does output 0, which is what is 0 into pi. But if I try to use that over here, like mycal.multiplication, and if I do that, it's going to output nothing. So I just wanted to give this tip, like you are basically including the properties also. So if you think that you can actually define new numbers over here, let's say number1 equals to, we are redefining it, 8, and number2 equals to 2. Now what I expected to happen is to output 16, right? And that is what happened. So basically you are taking properties also from the calculator class, and if you have the same variable name in both the things, basically like you are overriding the value. So that's another topic. I will mostly cover that in the next video. And yeah, it is still much big. I can actually finish it off right here. So I have this number2, let's recap a bit. I have this number2 variable, I have this number2 variable, and I am inheriting this class. So by default it will take the number2 variable from calculator class, but since I put another value for that, for this class the number1 and number2 variable will change. Only for this class, it's not going to affect this one, and neither is it going to affect this function. Only for this class and this function. That's quite interesting and a bit confusing too. So basically I am speaking out basically quite a lot too much today. I don't know what is so basic today. And yeah, and the same applies to functions also. So if I were to change exponentiation to multiplication, what it would do is first you can see that VS Code popped up an error, because now this multiplication function which I call here is not referring to this one where it doesn't require properties, but it's actually referring to here where it does require two numbers. So I should put numbers, and for demonstration I'll just put 2 and 5, and now if I run it, it's not going to execute this particular function, but it's actually going to execute this one. This is called overriding, as simple as that. So you take properties and redefine them, and in the next video we'll see polymorphism, and that's a bit like overriding, but you basically modify, you don't completely redefine. So let's say I wanted this multiplication function to both multiply and exponentiate the numbers and give the output. So what you would want to do there is called something like polymorphism, where you don't redefine it, but you modify it. So that's it. We'll see in the next video. Peace till then. And by the way, if you wanted to take screenshot, there goes my face, so you can actually take it now. And yeah, we are done for today. Bye guys.